Again, my name's Gabe Zollner. You know, historically, midterm elections don't seem to be all that important, and they generally don't have a very large turnout. The Republicans did very well in 2010, but I think that 2014 will be one of the most critical elections in this country's history. Now, Obama wants to take control of the House and maintain control of the Senate with a majority, so he can go ahead and do one of the things and all the things that he wants to do. But the reason that I think that 2014 will be the most important election in history is because if the Republicans come out the way they did in 2010, and if the Republicans end up maintaining the House and taking the Senate with a majority, well, if you watched some of my videos, I keep saying that there's no reason to impeach Obama. The House is where the impeachment process has to begin, but the trial is held by the Senate. And with the Senate being controlled by the Democrats, it would just be a total waste of time. However, all that would change, and it would change dramatically. If the House remains again with the Republicans and the Senate is taken by the Republicans once again with a majority, and if impeachment proceedings are brought against Obama by the House, the Senate would hold the trial, but the major difference would be that the Senate would be controlled by the Republicans. Now, what I would hope would transpire is that the Senate would demand that Obama release his records. And the records that I'm making reference to are the same records that Donald Trump offered $5 million to Obama to simply show. And then the money would be given to a charity of Obama's choice. The records are the same records that Elena Kagan helped bury with between $3 to $5 million of money that Obama provided to ensure that those records are buried. And the law firm that was involved in doing that is the same law firm that the less than honorable Eric the Beholder Holder used to work for as a partner. Now, can you imagine what would happen if Obama were ordered to release those records? And if he were found to be what I believe that he is, which is a usurper, he would then be tried for high treason, for having impersonated a president. Every single thing that he would have signed would become null and void. Every appointment that he made would be canceled. That would include Sonia Sotomayor and Elena Kagan. Elena Kagan would also hopefully be brought up with charges for having known that he was a usurper. Nancy Pelosi would also be charged for having not been able to have vetted him when she said she did. The legal courts would be tied up for a very long time. But if Obama was found guilty, which I'm absolutely convinced that he would be found guilty of high treason, the punishment for high treason is execution. That's why this is the most important election in America's history. Not because if he's found guilty he'll be executed, but because everything that he signed would become null and void, including Obamacare. So, if you have not voted before as a Republican, there's no time more important than the 2014 midterms. The problem is that fraud will become much more rampant because Obama is also aware of the ramifications if the Senate reverts to the Republicans and if the House remains with the Republicans. So I don't know how we can monitor that effectively. I don't know if between now and then Congress can demand that photo voter ID is required and any absentee ballots would have to be notarized. I doubt that those critically important pieces of the legislature will be presented and passed in time. So I don't know how it's going to turn out. But once again, as far as this country's concerned, not only for Republicans, but for Democrats as well, we have to have a government that is honest, doesn't have any devious plans as this one does, and understands that they work for the people. The people don't work for the government. And if you take a look at what's happened over the last 4.5+ years, everything that this administration does, they do by dictating what they want us to do. When Obama went ahead and fired the president of a publicly traded company, General Motors, he also went about methodically punishing Republicans by closing Republican-owned dealerships. That's where this whole nightmare began. And it ended with the IRS doing what they're doing. So, 214 is, I believe, the most critical elections in this country's history. I hope you agree, and I hope you vote, and I hope you get all your Republican neighbors to vote as well.